Okay, so we have T, we're going to test our students. Why? To expose their weaknesses and motivate them. We're going to R, require more from our students. Set the bar higher. We're going to A, arm them with the truth, teach them to defend it. That means, hey, we're going to have to do a little bit of work on our end. You don't have to know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but I want to know some of the guys who know a whole lot and go to them when I need to. Now, this is what turns teaching into training. I, involve them in the battlefield of ideas. Involve them in the battlefield of ideas. Think about the difference between a fighter who has a fight scheduled and a fighter who doesn't, right? If there's no fight scheduled, then there is no reason to go to the gym. If you never had a fight scheduled, well, you'd never have a point to, working out and training, of course. Likewise, if Christians are assuming they're always going to be in the safety of their church or the safety of their Christian school, completely isolated, they'd never think of training. That's why we need to start putting dates on the calendar. We need to start setting up kind of this involvement in the battlefield of ideas. Or imagine this, you guys like football. See, I'm Canadian, so I like hockey. Thank you. One other Canadian. So we got, or a wannabe Canadian, I don't know. So imagine football. Imagine you're in the classroom and you're drawing up plays, because you got to talk about, okay, who's going to be where and how are we going to run this play. Now, if you were never going to have to compete on the field, how long do you think those students are those football players are going to care about what you're drawing up on the chalkboard, right? You're going to lose interest pretty quick. Hey, we're never going out on the field. But as soon as you say, hey, on Friday night, we're going to be out there. It's time to get ready. That changes things, right? Mentally, that totally changes things. And so that's what we do. Here's one of the ways that we do it. We take students to the University of Berkeley. Okay, for years, Stand to Reason would go on 2 trips. We would take students to Berkeley, which by the way is not a seminary, and then we would go to Utah. We would go to Utah, BYU. One was an apologetic kind of mission thing, and one was a theological mission thing. And when we go to Berkeley, and I got the pleasure of going and took a few pictures, first thing we do in the morning, before we go, the students got to get trained up. And there's like 12 weeks of training that they go through, and they have to pass a test, and not just pass, it's like 80% on this test. And if you don't get 80%, you can't come. Sorry, maybe next year, okay? Because we know they're going to be engaging with students in this battlefield of ideas. They need to be ready. Okay, so we go. In the mornings, we invite people. There's an atheist friend. He's up in front of our students, and he's sharing about atheism. And our students, it is awesome to watch like a 14, 15-year-old student kind of go toe-to-toe with the atheist, okay? In a gracious way, but challenge with questions, interact with comments. Very cool. We say, here's an hour. You can talk to our kids, but then you leave, and we're going to debrief, And so some of the leaders are there. And then the afternoon, we go to the university. We're on campus doing surveys. First question, do you believe God exists? And that usually, forget the rest of the survey, now you're in a full-blown conversation about spiritual things with these University Berkeley students. These kids get back after a long day of doing all this stuff, and they got a gym there at the church that we could, we're sleeping on the floor of a church usually, so it's not glamorous. But they got the gym there. No, they want to start studying because they're going to meet so-and-so the next day. So they're hungry. They're excited to share and learn. It's amazing. Of course, when I was a teacher, high school teacher, the world religions class where they were learning about all these different world religions, how did we involve them in the battlefield of ideas? How did we take teaching and turn it into training? We said, guess what? You're going to learn about Hinduism, you're going to learn about Buddhism, you're going to learn about Islam, and Judaism, and guess what? We're going to those places of worship, okay? So we're gonna go to the mosque and talk to the imam. We're gonna go to the Hindu temple. We're gonna go to the Buddhist temple, the Jewish synagogue, and so on. And this got the students fired up. It was like they wanted to know their stuff. What do they believe and what do we believe and what's the differences? What does that look like in our own homes? Involved in the battlefield of ideas. Maybe it starts real small with just kind of at the dinner table in the safety of your own house. And you start challenging your kids or your students. I got an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and my youngest just turned 7, actually on Friday. And I was here, so I got to buy her a really big present when I get home, okay? She already got her presents, but now she gets more because Daddy wasn't there. And what happens is I have these glasses that I put on. My kids know when I put those glasses on, they're not real. They're just like straight glass in them. That's atheist Daddy, okay? That's not Christian Daddy anymore. And so when he puts those on, and so actually this was a problem because my daughters used to think that everyone who wore glasses was an atheist. So we had to deal with that. So even with my 6-year-old, so honey, why do you believe in God? Well, Daddy, you believe in God. No, this is atheist Daddy. This Daddy doesn't believe in God. Oh, okay, well, why do you believe in God? And it's like one of these things where, man, when I get my 6-year-old to say, well, what do you think created the world? Oh, now we're on to something. And now my daughter is using her critical thinking faculties and she's working her way. And all of a sudden she gets to, well, a creation needs a creator. I'm like, bingo. See, now you're starting to get it. Now I'm training you up. You're having to own your own beliefs and understand your own beliefs. You're not just gonna ride Daddy's beliefs forever. You have to have your own faith. And so that's one of the things that we could be doing there. You may want to get together with your family and other families and maybe, hey, let's go talk to people who don't share our beliefs. Hey, maybe we're going to go visit the local mosque or whatever and have a talk with them and find out what do they believe. And these kinds of events that kind of get us out of our comfort zone can be really helpful in getting us to engage. When those Jehovah's Witnesses knock on my door, I'm not turning them away. Get in here. And I get my kids to sit down and watch. Okay? I have spent like probably 100 hours with Jehovah's Witnesses in my area. We became friends. It's like, hey, give me your phone number. There's rules. You can't just show up anymore. You got to text me first because my wife's like, I don't like them coming when you're not here. Okay, they got to call me. And in fact, I said, I want to know where you live. You know where I live. And then this is awesome. And then I got his address. And one day I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go visit. Went to their door. You wouldn't believe the surprise on their face when, Tim Barnett's at the door. Hey, can I tell you about Jesus? So anyways, these are the kind of things you want to do something that is going to get us out of our comfort zone and involve.